What's up, everyone? So we just saw the 4x1s cap off with the heats here in Paris at the Olympic Games, and we are now on track for some really exciting finals. But let's dive in. I'm going to talk about both the men's and the women's 4x1s just very briefly here. Also, check out the previous video that I did kind of breaking down my predictions for the USA 4x1s, as we led into the Olympic Games. I already told y'all what the what the lineups were going to be, and we just saw them on the track today. First off, on the men's side, Christian Coleman, Fred Kerley, Kyrie King, Courtney Lindsay, they ran the prelims, and this was very much expected, where Christian Coleman, he was going to be the leadoff leg, Fred Kerley, he was going to be the second leg, and then you had Kyrie King and Courtney Lindsay. Those two had run at the World Relays, where Kyrie King, he ran the third leg, and then Courtney Lindsay, he originally ran the first leg at the World Relays, but we have him anchoring here. This team, man, they ran 37.47 seconds to win their heat very comfortably, way ahead of South Africa, the next best team on time. But the United States had some very shaky, their first handoff was very shaky. Let's be real. Christian Coleman to Fred Kerley, it was kind of terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Christian Coleman literally grabbed Fred Kerley's arm to stabilize it with both his hands to then put the baton in it. It was kind of crazy, insane. What's wild is that last year in Budapest, that same lineup is exactly what we saw, but they also had a similar issue. Christian Coleman ran up on Fred Kerley, and they almost didn't make it, they almost didn't get that handoff properly. But the good thing is they've been able to, get that done, and now they've qualified. They're going to be able to hopefully get things right to practice, to readjust a little bit. Man, I know that they have been practicing. We saw some athletes all the way out in LA, and then you also had some athletes down in Florida. Both of them kind of split up to do some practices. Then they came for relay camp prior to the Olympic Games. So they have gotten practice in. And again, Coleman to Kerley was the exact same lineup that was used at the Budapest World Championships. So we'll see. After that, I think things were pretty smooth for the most part, right? Fred Kerley to Kyrie King, and then Kyrie King to Courtney Lindsay. They got it around. They were comfortable. They were able to qualify 37.47 seconds. Very strong. I think that we're in store for something very strong when we get to the finals. What the lineup is going to be is that Kenny B is going to be running the third leg in the final, and then Noah Lyles is going to be running the anchor leg. Obviously, that's going to introduce a significant amount of speed, and that exact same team, for the most part, except for Brandon Carnes, ran in Budapest last year. Christian Coleman, Fred Kerley, Brandon Carnes last year, but now Kenny B, and then Noah Lyles. I think that they very likely not only can get under the American record of 37.04, they can get under 37 seconds. World record is in reach, but we'll see how that goes. But behind them, we did see South Africa, Akani Simbine really leading that team. Akani Simbine split 8.8 seconds. Someone could give me the exact times in the comments, but he had an amazing split on his leg, and he needs that Olympic medal. He wants an Olympic medal. This is going to hopefully be his moment. He has a very strong team with him, 37.94 to get that qualifying mark. Look out for South Africa there. You also had Great Britain. They qualified through. I don't know if they're going to have Zarno Hughes running. I don't know what his injury status is, what his health status. We'll see how that kind of plays out. But Great Britain was able to get in. Japan and Italy. That first heat was absolutely insane, where Italy, they were on the bubble. They're the last qualifying time. They were in 38.07 seconds. Absolutely insane. Shout out to Marcel Jacobs. I saw him in the mix zone after the 4x1. He said that after 100 meters, he just had a little bit of a cramp. No issues, no injury. He's good. They're going to the final. They're the Olympic champions in the 4x1. We'll see if Italy is able to, kind of defend that. Now, the next heat. China, they got the win, 38.24 seconds. France, second place, 38.34. And then Canada, in third place, 38.39. Those are your three automatic qualifying spots. Which country did I not say? Jamaica. Jamaica. This is tough because Jamaica found a little bit of a stride last year when they were able to get on the podium for the first time since 2016. This time they did not get it together. Fourth place in 38.45 seconds. All right, let's put this in perspective. First off, Akeem Blake from the first leg, from the blocks, he was excellent. Absolutely excellent. And he had a great handoff. He's done that before, though. He knows what it's like to run on a relay. Then he's passing to some very new guys, right? Jelani Walker, he's very new to the team. His handoff to Jelani Gordon was not great. Not great at all. It just took way too long. It was like, Gordon probably went out a little bit too fat. Like, it was not great. But then, now you have Gordon passing off to Kashane Thompson. I tried to look up some stats. I tried to look up some information. If anyone knows, go in the comments. Let me know if Kashane Thompson has ever run a 4x1 relay ever in his life. right? Whether it's at champs, whether it's at, I don't know, an element, I don't know, right? Let me know if he's running a 4x1. This is one of the things. He doesn't have that 4x1 experience. When he was trying to get the baton, he wasn't keeping a stable hand. So Gordon was coming up to him, and let me be clear, it goes both ways, right? Gordon has to get the stick to him, but then, Kishane has to keep a steady hand. He wasn't keeping that hand steady, and he wasn't able to execute the handoff in time. By the time that Kishane got the baton, all the other teams were gone. The teams were gone. And as talented as Kishane is, he just wasn't able to make up enough ground. They weren't able to qualify on time. Like I said with that first heat was insanely fast. This entire heat ran slower than Italy did, and they finished, fifth place in the first heat? Jamaica. It really sucks the fact that Jamaica is not able to get on the podium, not even able to contend for a podium spot in the Olympic Games 4x1 final. Man, this has been a tough Olympics for Jamaica, but that's it. The final is set. United States, obviously, they're going to be the favorites. I'm very interested to see what South Africa does, and I'm also interested to see what Japan and Italy does. Obviously, the other teams, right? Canada, I know Andre DeGrasse is dealing with a little bit of an injury, I think. We'll see how that kind of plays out, but we're going to see how that goes. Now, let's talk about the women. The women. They also had their qualifying races this morning, and these were pretty exciting. United States, like I said in the previous video, after the women's 4x100 meter dash at Olympic trials, this team was set. Melissa Jefferson, TT Terry, Gabby Thomas, Sha'Carri Richardson. And what's interesting here is that the United States, they actually are using the same lineup that they have in the heats that's going to be going to the finals. Remember, their alternates were Tamari Davis and Leah Hobbs, right? They were practicing. We saw that they've been practicing for a while, but they're choosing to just go with that final team. And I think I know why, where you had all three women, they made the 100-meter final, but none of them are running the 200. Think about Sha'Carri Richardson. Last year, she was running the 200, so she wasn't going to be able to, kind of double up, and, she was going to have a lot of load on her legs. Now she was only focused on the 100. She's able to just focus on the 4x1 at this point. Gabby Thomas, yes, she's running the 200 here, and she just came off of it yesterday, but because she has, run those three legs, and I think they wanted to make sure that they were able to just have continuity and get a little bit of quote-unquote practice in the heats before they went on to the final. And listen, they needed it. First handoff, great. Melissa Jefferson, TT Terry, I think they did perfectly fine. Not perfectly, but nothing is going to be perfect. I think they were good. They were able to get the handoff. TT Terry to Gabby Thomas. The exact same thing that happened in Budapest in the final happened here in Paris. TT Terry was running. Gabby Thomas, maybe she went out a little bit early or whatever it is, but they extended that zone very, very far, and TT Terry had to run up and really get that baton to Gabby before they missed the zone. I think they were like 3 or 4 steps before the zone actually ended, so obviously they were safe, it was good, but it was just a carbon copy of what we saw in Budapest. Now, from Gabby Thomas to Sha'Carri Richardson, handoff was fine. They were able to get it through, and they qualified through to the final, 41.94 seconds. So you're going to have a lot of work to do to be able to really step things up and, challenge 41 flat or 41.0 or, 40 seconds if they want to really go for, challenge the world record, which they might be capable of. But again, that second handoff, TT Terry to Gabby Thomas, they have another day to be able to get things together, and I like the fact that they are sticking with the same team from the heats to the finals. That's going to be big. Huge shout out to the United States. We're going to see how that plays out. You also had Germany. They finished second place in that heat, 42.15. Switzerland, 42.38. Kambunji on that anchor. She is always a workhorse. She is always putting in some great performances. They are looking to get a medal here. In the other heat, we did see Great Britain. They ran 42.03 seconds, so very, very strong time for Great Britain. That's actually the second fastest time out of all the qualifiers, only behind the United States. They're actually sitting out Daryl Nita and Dina Asher-Smith. They're probably going to add them into the final later on, so that team is going to be much stronger. And then you have France. You also had Jamaica. Jamaica with that young team, right? You had Alana Reed, Kemba Nelson, Sasha Forbes, Tia Clayton. They were able to run. They ran 42.35, so nothing too crazy. Listen, it's going to be a little bit of a reach to see them on a podium just because of the landscape of the 4x1 right now, and they don't have alternates to pull from. They're not bringing Shericka Jackson in. They're not bringing Shelly and Fraser Price in. They're not going to have these women, so they have to really just lock it down and see what they're going to be able to do. So huge shout outs to Jamaica for making that final on the women's side. Canada, Netherlands, they're all in the mix, all in that final. I'm looking forward to seeing these 4x1s. Those were just the heats. Let me know what you think about these 4x1s, both on the men's side as well as the women's side. What do you expect in the final tomorrow? It's going to be exciting. Always appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching.